depends on who it's coming from. But since it's coming from us, and this is the first time we're back since 2022.
Happy 2023.
Yes.
It's only what? Not even 2 whole weeks in January.
Yes, but like it's gonna be the 15th, and then that's the middle, and then you might as well just say we in February.
What if you don't see people who the last time that you saw them was in 2022? So you can't say Happy New Year to them if it's February 1st?
I don't know. It just depends.
I would say, hey, Happy New Year. Good to see you in this new year.
Because you do extra all the time. And so
well, thank you for rocking with the Real Therapist for the Culture. We are here. I am Sophia.
I am Dr. L.
And you getting all this energy already. 2
all
minutes
of it.
in.
Yo, my daughter gonna say to me, it's always something, right? Why they call you Dr. L? And I just looked at her. And I was like, what? Oh, yeah, your name's LaShawna.
Or how about your last name? Like
weirdo.
I mean, but just think about it. When you matriculated and received your PhD, she was a baby. So she didn't really get to experience what I got to experience. So she knows you're a doctor, but it's still something about experiencing it. So you'll never forget it.
Well, she does know that. But then the other day, our kids just like take our personalities and be like, give me that shit, it's mine.
And I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna kill it and body it and slammer it and do whatever I want to do with it. But you still see a little glimpse of you in it.
I'm picking her up from dance, and her friend getting in my car, and the older woman is at the door, and she was like, Dr. L? And I'm like, and Journey got in the car. She was like, why'd she call you that? I'm like, I don't know. Who
right.
gave her permission? You ain't know. Journey was like, maybe she was snooping on your Instagram or something. And I was just like, no, what kind of conversation? All I keep thinking is, what conversation occurred that now you ain't never called me Dr. L ever. And I do not introduce myself as Dr. L in regular spaces. So it's like, where the fuck did that come from? But
that's how I feel about Soph. I've released it now because I have said Soph on here a lot, and we've been doing this going into our 4th year this year. So I have, but when people say Soph, my head turns like, you would think like I'm for the mob or something. Like, how do you know that? Like, why do you feel that comfortable that you are saying Soph? That was such a kind of Brooklyn thing. And even in college, you know, there was some Soph, but it would be like, my name is Sophia.
I don't think I've ever called you Sophia.
Like, I introduce myself that way. I never say, or you'd be like, hi, I'm Suge, or Sophia. Like, I want you to clearly understand the distinction between, I don't care if you heard somebody call me that over there, you don't get that right. But I have let that go, but that used to throw me off. Like, Soph, what's up? I don't even fucking know your name. Like, how come you saying Soph? But now my clients, they are just like,
you Soph.
Yeah, to many of them. And you know, it's fine.
That's fine. It's fine.
So what you bringing for us today? You are kicking this new year off.
So we're kicking this new year off, and you know, we our last episode last year, or our last episode in 2022, we were vehemently opposing the new year, new me.
Yeah.
And we are still in the space of no new year, no new me.
Absolutely.
But since yoga class on Monday, the theme has been staying stuck. And
by the way, I've been practicing my position, Natarajasana,
Natarajasana.
Rajasana. I've been practicing my dancer's pose, and I've been really doing good. So I'm getting unstuck, just so you know.
I can't wait to see it.
Okay.
I can't wait to see it. And so staying stuck has just come up. And so I'll tell you guys where this whole thing originated from. So I parted ways with my nail person. After this is 2023, had to be a good 5 years. I have parted ways, and everybody either they saw me with these shorter nails, or they're going to be longer next week. Or they saw me with no nails and they were like, where are your nails or whatever. And so when I said, oh, I have a new nail tech, it's like, oh, what? Why? And the conversation was, but not your nails.
Yeah.
And so Sophia knows it took me a while to separate. It took me a long time to say, you know what? I'm going to move on. And so
a lot of processing.
A whole lot of processing, right? And so I'm going to just throw that out here for you. So have you ever stayed in something? And we're going to call it something for a little while. Because it's not just, we stay stuck in a lot of shit.
I'm excited for this topic.
And for many reasons, and we're going to talk about some of the reasons, and as we go along, we'll talk about, you know, how to maybe even, you know, cut the cord, and let's just call it that. Have you ever stuck in something contrary to what everything was, like all of the downloads, or how you might have felt, or what you may have experienced in that thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, as you saying that, I was all hasty, like, yes. And what I'm super aware of is it still shows up, but I'll start with like basic, just as far as the esthetician world, just that I would stay with the same hairstylist forever. First of all, being from New York, I went to the same Dominican spot, and people be like, oh, all Dominicans are the same. No, you won't do that. I went to Carmen for middle school and still was coming back first year of college weekly. And my mother was like, yeah, sis, this stops. You're going to have to learn how to do a wash and set on your own. But even things like that. So from hair to nail techs to even massage therapists. Like, oh, they know my body. But I also am aware that my personality is that way, that I don't like change. And when I get connected with someone, I have convinced myself that this was this divine intervention, and act like it has to be forever, opposed to knowing that that's just for that season. I've stayed in places where they were unprofessional, or I didn't like the way I watched them treat other people because of status or this or that. And I would come up with excuses. I would call myself saying like, well, let me gently confront them, or, you know, give them feedback as a business owner and this and that, and still see the same behaviors, and still would be like, but no one could just do my hair that way, or no one could design my nails that way. So yes, I have stayed in situations, personally as well. But since you was talking about your nail tech, I stayed there, but definitely in friendships and all types of things where it's like, sis, what you doing? You know what you know, and you know that this is time to release this.
So, we talking about our, like, you know, I call them my caretakers, my ladies, either it's nail tech, hair, eyebrows, lashes, wax, whatever the case is. I loved my eyebrow lady. I had no beef with my eyebrow lady.
Yeah.
No beef at all with my eyebrow lady. Used to get them threaded. I wanted to, and you guys have heard me talk about it before, I wanted to get, my eyebrows always been a little bit like thin, right? I wanted to get the microblade micro shade. I would not get the microblade micro shade because I didn't want to stop going to see Priyanka. When I had Journey prematurely, this little Indian woman was bringing me bags and bags of red lentils to increase my milk supply. Like, she don't know, like, she probably could not tell you my name, but she know Journey, and Journey, I'm Auntie Priyanka. Like, I did not want to sever that cord. Yeah. And so Priyanka went out of business in the pandemic. And that was my permission to go get my eyebrows microbladed.
That's something. How many times have life had to almost support you and then shifting or becoming unstuck?
And so it wasn't even that the relationship wasn't serving me, because I loved going there. Like, I loved seeing Priyanka. Even if I was only there for 20 minutes, it was always something that I took from my little Indian lady. Mm-hmm. However, I wanted something else.
Right.
And I wouldn't go and get the other thing that I wanted, because it was like, no, I can't let this thing go. So we stay stuck in shit. And so I think that I didn't want to structure this in a way of what do we stay stuck in, because we can go on and on.
Yeah.
But we're gonna hit some main reasons. And
because a lot of times people assume that it's just relationships, and I like how you started it, because what I remind myself and also share with clients or even in personal life, that anything that you are stuck in one area, best believe that it's showing up in other areas.
Shazit.
Never just the one that has this pull on your heartstrings. Even with that coworker, even with that job, with the food, the place that you're going. You have grown past eating here, but just because you have a rapport with the manager now, you don't want to say that you tried the new Indian restaurant up the block now. So it's beautiful that you started really light in a sense, but also understanding that any area that you are stuck in, guaranteed it's spilling out in other areas that you may think aren't as important per se.
Absolutely. So, reason number one, and these are in no particular order.
Okay.
The in-depth one is going to be last, but they're in no order of importance, I'll say. So number one being comfort and routine.
Routine. I am a person that lives on routine, structure, schedules. I was reading something about Capricorns the other day, and it was cracking me up. Like, it takes a certain type of person there is a spontaneous part of us, but it takes a level of comfort for you to see that side, because the most you're going to see is sometimes even the rigidity of it has to look this way. So that, even though I know that you said that it's in no order, that's a big one. That's one of my biggest one. Just routine. I know where to go. I know how to get there. I know how you move. I could calculate my other schedules.
Absolutely.
The way it is, that comfort and schedule structure. Yep.
So even the things that may not serve us, we'll still find comfort in those things. And we still call them things, right? Mm-hmm. And so even if it's, I mentioned wax, right? Do you remember how long I stayed with my wax lady?
Yeah.
I followed her everywhere she went, right?
Even if it was inconvenient.
Oh, we can get to that one too, right? But it was, you getting waxed. I don't know about you, but I don't want to go spread my legs for a different lady every single time. And, not to mention just, it just.
Here go to marry later. I didn't mind.
It's almost like, I want to know, what you're doing when you take care of me. So it's like, oh no, this is my comfortable space. I'm cool. I'm gonna, oh gosh, she pissed me off today. But it's fine. I'm gonna just do it. It's only 10 minutes. It's only once every 4 to 6 weeks. It's all right. And these are the things, the narratives that we'll tell ourselves.
Yeah.
This is comfortable.
And the discomfort. That's one of the Soph says that I put up before, like, be aware of your comfort and discomfort. Even though you're saying it's inconvenient, this is uncomfortable, but yet you find comfort there, because if not, you wouldn't keep staying.
And so I think the disclaimer I want to add is that none of these reasons, like as you're listening and maybe you're identifying areas where you have been stuck, and even the reasons come right behind it, these are not necessarily wrong reasons. There's nothing wrong with wanting to go somewhere where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
We're going to get to the but, though. Second one being financial or reasons around investments. And so this one comes up in a few different ways. And so I've known people to be engaged, to be married, and, you know, planning a wedding. They're about some thousands of dollars into planning this wedding. And it's like, I don't want to do this. So don't do it. But I've already spent the money.
Got it.
And it's like, okay, I can't get my money back.
Yep.
I can't get my money back. Now.
Break that down.
One of my friends calls me Mrs. Krabs, right? She said, I'm very, like, about my money, right? Never been in a position where I almost lost or I had to, like, walk away from some shit that I've already put thousands and thousands of dollars on. However, your whole life?
That's it.
Or
this 30,000. Let's jump out there. Let's don't even play small. Like, let's don't play small and say 5,000. And I know
I was gonna say 10.
That's small now. That's small now. I got married in 2008 and it was 30,000 then. And that was the high end now. It's like 60 now. But let's say you 30,000 in. Let's say you're 50,000 in. And of course we don't know our dash, right? We don't know this end date. But just assuming that here you are, 35, I was 26 years old, and here I'm almost 41. And I say, I'm going to move forward with this $30,000 loss, and here I still have these years left of unhappiness. I'm going to take that loss. But what I know now is not what I knew then at 26, right?
Okay.
At 26, even though we know emotional intelligence is not based off a chronological age, however, we are very clear that the more experience does support possible emotional intelligence, right?
Yes.
So just say, play with the age. At 26, it was like, nah, I gotta go through. I got a kid. We got this home together. I have to. Now at 41, take it. Take it. I'm gonna live in Suge's new home in the basement, as dreadful as that may fucking be. I would move differently now, but I get it. I do get it.
Yeah, yeah. And so when I thought financial and investments, I think the other thing that came up was I met someone who was in their last year of college and was like, I can't do this. And I was like, what? Like, this your last semester? Like, this your last semester?
That's a good one.
And it was like, I just can't do it. I don't even think I want to be in this career. And I'm like, my mind now, Journey, PSA, if you're listening, don't play with me, right?
Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Now, when I'm paying out of pocket, but that's the human side, right? Let's go to the more clinical version of this.
And so even in senses like school, like, oh my God, I've invested all of this money and school is just not for me. It's not for me. I don't like it. I'm not going to do it. Might stay stuck, right? A job. We might stay stuck in a job because I think I see it most with people who, or I have seen it most with people who work for some level of government.
Oh, gosh.
Whether it's federal, state, local government. It's like,
and I try to empathize, but those ones right there, the government people will.
We're different though, right?
And that's why I said, that's why I just tried to empathize, because I don't know what it's like.
Right.
But them government people will make you almost like root on the stuckness.
They all, you know what? Time out, pause. They all keep posting these 0 balance fucking loan forgiveness. And I'm government.
That is exciting to see. But that group there.
Yes. I can't make this much money anywhere else. I can't make this much money private sector. I have good benefits. And so that's still a financial or
absolutely.
I've been here 15 years, and if I'm here 5 more, I'll be 100% vested.
Yes.
And so again, not that these are wrong reasons, because they're absolutely not wrong reasons, but we will stay stuck in some shit.
Yeah. And even with the financial, the first thing that came to my mind is staying stuck because it's cheaper. I'll use one of the old sayings, it's cheaper to keep her. I'm going to stay in this marriage because this divorce, splitting this equity in this home. Now we paying multiple things here. I got to pay child support. Exactly. So it's cheaper to keep her. So I'll stay stuck. Even down to going back to like hairstylists. Not only was the service good, but it's cheaper. When you tell me how much you pay for your weaves, I'll be like, no, I didn't pay that. And the way my head is shaped or whatever, I like mine more for me, So it's like, this is cheaper. So yes, I might get a little bit more professionalism over there, a little bit more on time and all of these different things, a whole experience. But do I want to pay $250 more for that experience? Mm-hmm. So that's what came to mind, like just taking cheaper routes, staying stuck because it's like, this is more affordable for me.
Yep. So that's, and as I'm sitting here and we're thinking, I probably could still go on and on about more financial reasons. I think some women stay in relationships because they man got that dochi. And nobody else is going to give me an allowance of $5,000 a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to put up with all of this shit because I just am. And so you could go on and on.
Yeah. That financial piece is big.
It's a big one.
When you think about even 2 incomes. So not only he's providing and taking care of, but even 2 income. Both of us together is $250. Me by myself is only $98. Like, life is gonna be different.
I might start like recruiting though. I was thinking about opening up. I'm about to start recruiting this mortgage I'm about to have. I'm like, I can handle it, but like,
things get a little different. Like, are you taking 7 trips a year or 1 good one a year? Like, are you saying, we do this birthday dinner things? Or are we going to start saying like, hey, let's just try this little buffet spot. I heard the seafood there is amazing. Things start to get different when you think about that. I'll be lying if I say in my marriage when I've been like, yeah, I think I'm over you. And then I'll be like, I'm getting a pool bill. Like, well, wait a second.
Consider some shit, right?
Let's just talk about it. Let's do therapy. Let's figure it out before I just kind of jump ship. So financial can either keep you stuck or help you quickly evaluate some shit quickly. Can I handle this alone or not?
Do I want to? Yeah. Right? Third up is convenience. Mm-hmm. So when I say convenience, some of the things that come to my mind. So I think even still in like relationships too, right? It'll be like, well, or you know what? I'll go to that one next. I'm living in an apartment. I fucking hate the apartment, right? Apartment is 3 minutes from school, right? Mm-hmm. I am stuck because where it is convenient for me in this moment. People who have, lived with their parents. I live here because it's convenient. I have a in-house babysitter.
Exactly.
Right? No, I hate the fact that my mother is in my business, but I got a babysitter.
I'm paying little to nothing.
It ends up being convenient.
Yeah, I definitely have made choices off of, I have, even before children, I've always had a rigorous life. Like if it was school, taking classes, just doing too much. Like, oh, okay, let me do a little work study here, or let me work. So I've always had pretty much a fast-paced life. So I like convenience. Like, I really like conveniency. Like, it makes it easier. Right now, everything, not everything, many things, I have mobile car wash. I have a mobile barber. Like mobile, if I could do mobile everything, the only thing that I don't do mobile is that food shit that you guys do. Like I need to, that's something therapeutic. Yeah. Like I don't want somebody shopping for me. Like I want to shop for myself. It's trying to figure out how many ounces this meat is versus, I don't want to do that, right? But I like conveniency because it gives me a break for something else that I may want to do. And that has led to being stuck there.
Yeah.
Convenience in relationship. You know, one of the things people will say is like, this is the devil I know. I'm going to take the risk and try to see, and this person around my kids, what if he's a sex offender? What if he's a axe murderer? You know, like this is convenient for me. Like I know the family already. I know everything. The sisters come and get the kids, and it's just convenient.
Yeah. And so the flip side is, you know, you kind of mentioned, you know, I stayed in that relationship even when it became inconvenient. And so even when something is inconvenient, sometimes we'll still stay in it.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to convenience, though, this is the one that other people will use to try to make you change your mind about something, right? And so I have heard people say that, you know, I want to move to a different state. Okay, so what does your family think about that? Well, they said I should stay here because it's my support and this is what I know, and why would I go so far? And they wouldn't be able to get to me. And so people will tell you, well, why would you do that? And it's all the way, over there. When I changed Nail Girls,
Yeah.
I'm now going to Parkville again. I live in Owens Mills, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a bop, right? And so it's like, well, why would you go all the way out there and your nail tech was only 12 minutes from you? Because it wasn't serving me. You know what I mean? The one that goes in with convenience is time.
Yeah. Yes. I didn't want to jump your list, but that's what kept coming into my mind. Again, it's about knowing yourself, right? And time is what did we say a few weeks ago? Time is an illusion. It absolutely is. I feel like this is one of those ones that's more for women than men. And of course, you know, there's always tons of exceptions, but women have this thing like, well, I've given 8 years, so I'm gonna stay, you know, or I've been going to this nail tech for 5 years and I'm gonna stay. Like time is one of the things that I feel like I hear the most, because at the end of the day, people don't want to feel like they're wasting their time, but really not understand that you are. Like, yes, you being stuck, you're not moving. That's a waste of time. So it's really how you play and reframe the words, but you really are wasting your time at this job that you feel like is dead end. Yes, it's providing and doing all these things that you're stating, but if you are stuck anywhere, just think about it figuratively. Like, I'm not moving. Like, I'm really not. I'm in quicksand and I'm not. That's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that time piece is.
I think that women and men too,
Absolutely.
they see time as an investment, right? And so it's almost like, you know, if you are into investing, a couple of the key things is you have to wait. And there might be ups and downs. There might be ebbs and flows. There may be some stagnation. And so I think some people convince themselves, well, I invested this many years. And people will make any amount of years be a big amount of years.
Yeah, it's been 8 months. And it's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Right?
Okay.
it's been this many years, and now I need to sit and I think I need to wait, or I would like to wait on my return. I've been through them I've been with them when they had nothing. I'm not giving this away to somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing about that, and we could point it out right here, right now, is that when it comes to relationships, they are not that kind of investments. Numbers are numbers, right? It's gonna be what it's gonna be. 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. You can't flip that shit no other way. With human beings, that's not the case. So even when people try to use that analogy, I kindly interject and say, yes, in that way, that's not how this is with time. That's not how it is in relationships, regardless if it's a hairstylist versus an intimate relationship. Yeah. So it's like you can't see it that way, because if so, you will then convince yourself that it's like, well, I'm waiting for this return. You never know. Yes, it is a risk, right? That's similar to investments, but you never know if this, we done did 8 years together, I done did all of this, and now he's going to be this romantic this and that. Yeah. Like, we don't know if that's going to come. So it's a one-man show of making that choice, not indicative of, well, the numbers show that in 2022, the market went up 8% this first quarter. And second, you can't do that with human beings. Somebody be 30 years in, and it's like, we haven't seen zero change statistically.
So, but think about it, right? Think about it. If you go to the mall, right, and you walk around the mall for 2 hours, and you come out with nothing. Like, so it's this thing where we want to come out of some shit with something.
And you will, but it may not be what you think you should come out with, right?
Absolutely.
So even let's stay basic with the mall. I did not come out with a physical item, but I got a workout in. I may have even, this is how you gotta see life. I got a workout in because I done did all my steps. Don't y'all watch us calculate shit like that? Yep. I ran into a coworker who I haven't seen in 7 years, exchanged numbers. I grabbed a smoothie that was like, oh, maybe I'll start drinking these now, because they was giving it out free in front of Pandora. Like, that's the same thing in relationships. You do come out with something. You come out with tons of lessons of learning who you are, and learning staying stuck doesn't serve me. Also learning that I'm bigger and better in this area. I also learned that I don't show up the best when I'm frustrated. I also learned you come out with more than you actually will identify, because you're so focused on thinking that it should look a certain way. Soon as we say should, we know we're in irrational beliefs. Absolutely. Like, this relationship should be at this point because it's 8 months in. We should be married because we've been dating 5 months. Irrational. But you can sit and say, what have I taken? And when you do it, it's amazing. You feel empowered because you realize it was about you, instead of thinking that all these things you was looking for was indicative of someone else.
Yeah. So the last one we got is definitely one we could go on and on and on and on and on about. Fear. There's this like fear. And so we will stay stuck in some shit. And so when this conversation came up at yoga on Monday, I had 3 missing nails. I just got my nails done on I think I got my nails done last Thursday, right? I had 3 missing nails by Monday, and 1 was on its way, right? And so what I had said is, I said, sometimes when you do make the decision to move on, the environment, the universe, things will happen, and you tell yourself it's because I made the wrong decision. And that never is the case. That never is the case. Even if the nail tech I picked may have been the wrong decision, leaving was not the wrong decision.
Yep.
Right? Changing was not the wrong decision.
Honoring yourself wasn't the wrong decision.
But we will be afraid, again, afraid. nobody's going to be able to do that like mine. Well, in this relationship, I don't have to deal with cheating. I'm afraid that the next one I'm going to have to deal with this. So I'm just going to stay here, miserable, unhappy, bad fucking sex, all of that, because I don't know. I'm afraid of what lies on the other side. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid of how I'm going to make this person feel when I tell them that I'm moving on, right? Yeah.
The fear of the judgment from others. The fear of my life not looking the same anymore. The first thing Monday came in, I didn't realize how short your nails were. The first thing you said was, look at these little stubs I got on. I'm like, as the sage is going, as the scene is set, it was like, look at this. And then someone said, oh, I did realize that. And not saying that was your reason, but the fear of, I don't look the same anymore.
It's different.
This is different from me. How will I be perceived now? The fear will
cripple you.
I was just about to say debilitate, however you want to flip it, right? And it is powerful. It's powerful because it was created based off of anything that we challenge with in this human experience, right? So if you think that leaving, the fear of, what if I made the wrong decision? Sometimes that is crippling. Before I even get to how someone else is going to see me, how I'm impacting the other person, the fear is I could really walk away doubting and mistrusting. What if I made the wrong decision?
So this is a hard one we could go, I think takeaways could be endless, right? But some of the things that have come up for you as we've been talking about, like being stuck. I'm going to say this. If you're wondering if you're stuck, you probably are. So we're not going to go into this whole, how do you figure out if you're stuck? If you believe you stuck and you're questioning staying or going, leaving a relationship, a job, your nail tech, the restaurant that you usually get your pizza from. If you are contemplating it, chances are you're stuck, right?
So wait, let me add to that real quick before you go straight into your takeaway. So there is great part of that I do agree with. However, I feel like we live in a society where the external variables are so loud that sometimes you could contemplate that based off of that. Other people saying like, girl, you still at that job? You still with him and he hasn't proposed yet? Y'all still doing this? Y'all still doing that? So sometimes that external world could make you think like, damn, am I stuck? So yes. I still do offer that you do sit and figure out what is internal versus what other people's opinions, social media,
absolutely,
with these fucking relationship goals, job goals, bad goals, whatever goals, that has played a part in you questioning if you are actually stuck or not.
So
and you may not be, but based off of their
measures,
perception, it could look like you are. But to you, I'm like, I'm actually okay. I like this place. I like this relationship, and I'm not stuck. So I do still offer that you do that was my takeaway. Doing that internal reflection of, even when we're talking about investments and convenience and all of these different things, like the cost risk, right? So it's like, no, I do really benefit from this. Yes, it is convenient. Yes, it's financial, but my benefit list looks longer than the investment, the conveniency, the this, the that, like, so I am really not stuck.
So and so that's where the heavy emphasis is on if you believe you're stuck, right? And so, Sophia made the point of those external things being loud. The converse is trusting your intuition, because your intuition is that quiet voice. The intuition whispers, and those whispers, those small things, those little aches in your back, those are the things telling you this is not serving you. And so I guess one of my takeaway is, as you're sitting with it, ask yourself, how does this make me feel?
Yeah.
Right? You could do a running list. You could write sentences of how it makes you feel. And if something does not make you feel good, chances are it's affecting so many other realms of your life. I don't know if you remember, but when Sophia and I graduated undergrad, we graduated in 2004. I left and went back to Albany, and from 2004, June or May, till June or July of 2005, I was the most miserable that I had ever been in my entire life, right? I was so miserable being back in Albany. It was just terrible. At the last minute in that summer of 2005, I said, I'm going back to Baltimore. I ain't have a job. My father dropped me off in this apartment, and it wasn't shit in the apartment. I was sitting on the floor, and I was fucking happy.
Yeah.
I was happy as shit. Like, I was so happy. Like, had my friends, like, sunlight was coming through my little apartment.
Yeah.
Like, I was happy, and I ain't have shit, right? And then the things that I need, they came, right? And so, like, if it's a relationship, if it's a job, like, if that shit don't make you feel good, or if it's making you feel negatively, chances are you might need to cut the cord.
Yeah. I like it. I definitely, and as you were saying that, I was just reflecting and thinking about tons of times where it was like, oh my gosh, I was stuck and then became unstuck, and just freedom, right? And one saying that I love is being authentic to you, but authenticity equals freedom. So when you honor yourself and you constantly choosing you, it invites in this freedom, and then that freedom opens the door for so many other things. Another takeaway for me, and this gets a little deep, that requires doing the work, but it's good for you to identify the areas that you may be stuck in these relationships, jobs, and stuff like that. But it's important to get unstuck with you, right? So before you just cut the cord, be clear about what's happening within you that creates patterns of you being stuck. Because what happens is you'll cut the cord, and then you'll be in another stuck situation. It just has a different name, just a different state, just a different school. We could go on and on. A different nail tech, it will still be the common theme. So it's important to, like, going back to that reflection, but this is more of that internal introspection. Like, am I still stuck with these limited beliefs that I hold about my childhood? Am I still stuck with what I experienced with my parents? Am I still stuck with that first love heartache kind of situation? Like, where am I stuck with me before you cut any cord? Because this is beautiful, right? And even, like I said, I'll read some stuff on social media like, that's yummy, but we'll impulsively cut that cord and don't even catch the patterns because it looks a little different.
Absolutely.
This relationship isn't physically abusive, so we're good here, but it's emotionally abusive, or it's financially abusive, and it's not as bad as that. So you don't even see the pattern of stuckness, or in these relationships, these friendships, another job. So it's like getting clear of what's happening within you, clear that up and cut the fuck away. But you also may realize, as I have gotten clear with me, I don't even really have to cut nothing else because I move differently in all of these relationships. I set more boundaries. I'm more assertive. I'm this. And you may not have to be on this cutting frenzy.
Yep.
It always starts with you.
Yep. And so just small addition to that is, because I was thinking every time I have this conversation, the thing that I have already placed on myself that keeps me stuck is me even saying, well, I'm loyal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I convince myself I'm loyal. And if I cut this, that means I'm not. And it's like, you loyal. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's it.
Regardless. And again, if this is not serving me, that does not mean I'm still not loyal, right? I still send people to you. To be honest, you just not for me.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And so,
that's I thought that was on the list. Like, because I was waiting to put my hand up. Like, I'm loyal. I'm so loyal. And I've learned the difference of, or people would say loyal to a fault, but I've learned that I have been abusively loyal to me, where I'm so busy showing up for you that it's harming me.
Yep.
And I said no longer. And I haven't. I will say that I'm in recovery with it. I have relapsed at times because when I love intensely. But I will say that I have been abusively loyal to myself. Even simple things. Hey, you coming to my party? And emotionally, I'm not there, but because I feel like I have to show up, this grandiosity, like I have to be there. No, you'll be absolutely fucking fine if I didn't show up to this party. You may miss my presence, but it ain't stopping the show, right? So it's like knowing the difference of what loyalty really is, or really being loyal to a fault, or abusively being loyal.
Yep. And so, release it, cut it.
Release it. Assess it.
Today's episode was about increasing your insight, right? And so just taking some of these things to consider, what is keeping you stuck.
Yeah.
Honoring your feelings in the process. And the more you honor your feelings, the more the solutions will come to you to not be.
I do have one more. I'm sorry. In this process, really being self-compassionate and gentle. Because what happens with many of us, including me at times, is once you now identify, wow, I really am stuck. Mm-hmm. It becomes this bashing, this really critical, you stupid, you knew better, you saw this the last time. Just really being gentle. I tell people all the time, you're a fragile package. And it doesn't mean that it's like, oh, fragility is like, it's not strong. No, it's just you need to handle me with care. So handle you with care as you reflect and do this and think about cutting cords. Be gentle with yourself and forgive yourself. I forgive myself for staying way longer than I know I should have. Compassionate self-forgiveness.
All righty.
Thank you for joining us. Follow us on Instagram at Real Therapist. Facebook, Real Therapist. You could email us any topics, any additional comments that you want to add at realtherapist@gmail. You can listen to us on all platforms.
All of the platforms. Easiest thing to do is to go to our Instagram page, click the link
in the bio,
and it'll connect you to all of the places where you can find us.
And our merch, all of it is available. Until next time.
Peace.